Thanks for joining us today. I'm Kevin McNamara, joined by Ted Townsend, the President and CEO of the Greater Memphis Chamber. Ted, good to have you here with us.
So great to be here, Kevin. Thank you.
Yeah, so, we've just been talking.
Yeah.
What is it that you would want people to know about the Chamber right now?
Well, I want them to know that they have a national award-winning chamber that represents this region. Just last week, the Association of Chamber of Commerce Executives had the annual conference in Philadelphia, and we were competing for Chamber of the Year. There are 1,700 chambers across the country that do a lot of the work that we do, but we focus on economic development as well as traditional chamber offerings. And it was a really great competition, and we were pleased to come home with the national championship, if you will, of chambers, to be Chamber of the Year in Category 4, which is the largest metros in the country and their respective chambers. So it was a great competition, and we were grateful to the judges and the association for recognizing the work that we do and the impact that it has on our community.
Yeah, Chamber of the Year, congratulations.
Thank you.
So what does that entail then?
Well, it entails a significant process first. I mean, the application itself is very robust and complex. They look at everything from your finances to your membership protocols, sponsorships, and all that you do as an organization to really facilitate and drive the economy forward. So we put all of that information together, submitted it, and we learned that we became a finalist, and then the real work begins, preparing for the interview, which counts 2/3 of the overall score. So we were prepared. We have a great team, and they put all of the documents together, and we felt at any year to apply for this was our year, because we've had such success with the announcement of XAI. That project alone won us Deal of the Year in economic development, as rated by Business Facilities magazine. That's like the top award you could ever get, and we were the only chamber in the country to receive that award.
Wow.
And you combine that with getting the CC Award, which is Community Impact Award for Aon, who's a company that we announced last year, the largest manufacturing project in the last decade in Memphis. I mean, 800 jobs and $300 million in capital investment. They provide thermal cooling systems for data centers and AI, so it was really great timing for them to come into our market. But they understood the impact that these 800 really high quality jobs would play into our economy. And that, combined with all of the other efforts that we've had locally, really to do a lot of outreach into the community, was recognized. So we're very grateful for that.
Yeah, you're talking about XAI. They're in the news a lot.
Are they?
you hear a lot about them.
Yeah.
It's a lot of different sides.
Sure.
From the Chamber's perspective, what is XAI bringing?
Well, so we're focused on diversifying our economy and building the tax base. That's what the Chamber is primarily focused on. We have to have a thriving, vibrant economy that is accessible to all of our citizenry. That we have to create those pathways and onboarding so that these great high-quality jobs that we're attracting are available to everyone. So notwithstanding the upskilling opportunity, XAI represents just this transformational change. A few years ago, in partnership with Mr. Fred Smith, who just passed, and his son Richard Smith, they coined the phrase Digital Delta. And we launched that as a campaign to really market Memphis in a unique way, mostly driven by data, because we looked at several different economic metrics. And we compared ourselves with other peer cities, and as you can imagine, Memphis didn't fare very well. We were kind of in the bottom quartile of those cities. And there was one data point that we were #1 in, and that was the percentage of information technology positions held by African Americans. So 25% of every IT job in Memphis is held by an African American, and that placed us #1. Not surprising with our demographics, and Memphis being the largest metro in the nation with the highest population of African Americans. So we took that, we looked at it nationally, and the top 53 markets across the U.S. with a population of 1 million or more. And when we did the same analysis, Memphis was still #1. by a significant margin. And we were allowing other markets like Atlanta to kind of claim that. And so couple that timing with a McKinsey report that came out that showed if a tech CEO wants to diversify their workforce, they need to go to where that workforce is. And predominantly that's in the Southeast US. And here we are with this amazing data point, and now this platform of Digital Delta where we marketed it to Microsoft. I went to Redmond, Washington, and toured their headquarters and presented this case for investing in Memphis. And they said, Ted, we love this. We wish we had known about it 2 years ago before we committed to Atlanta. So it was a false victory, but it was validating. And so you combine the data, the marketing, this iconic phrase that came out of a legendary Memphian, Mr. Fred Smith, who knows transformational change and created that in our economy. And we packaged that up, and we were ready for when XAI came and inquiring about an opportunity to place their investment here. So what that means now for us is that the Digital Delta is solidified. We have tech CEOs saying it and calling it back to us. And if I were to have this conversation with you even a year ago, and I were to say that Memphis is the epicenter for artificial intelligence computing and generative learning, you would probably say, I'm not sure about that, Ted, but we have the world's largest supercomputer right here in Memphis. And now with the assumed announcement of Google in West Memphis, which we helped to attract, you have a cluster of global tech companies investing tens of billions of dollars into our economy. And where that hits most for Memphians is that XAI, in a year of operations, they're already our second largest taxpayer, only behind FedEx, who's been here for 5 decades. So that diversification of skills and job opportunities, plus that investment, which is going into our economy, that's going to represent hundreds of millions of tax revenue dollars that can be invested in our public infrastructure, in our education, in our healthcare, you name it. The policy makers here, the elected officials, will be responsible for shepherding those investments, and the Chamber looks forward to working with them and saying, this is what we need to continue Memphis's growth.
Transformational change is what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
What can Memphis be changed into transformationally?
Well, I think we are now thrust into the lexicon of great global tech hubs. That's not hyperbole. It is fact. It is true. XAI has continued to commit to Memphis. They're very pleased at being here. They're investing in another facility, which is 1 million square feet, and they're going to continue their march to 1 million graphics processing units, or the chips that go into a supercomputer. Not only that, but their partners. Because AI is one thing, but something has to generate AI, and that is tangible hardware. And so we have shifted our focus to the supply chain of artificial intelligence, what that looks like upstream, downstream. And we're working with XAI's partners and vendors to look at concentration of production here in Memphis so that we will become a high-tech manufacturing hub. Why is that possible? Well, we've got the apparatus of supply chain and logistics with all of our modalities of transportation. We call them the 4 R's. So we've got that beautiful river, we've got the bridge here. We have the railroads. We have one of the highest concentration of rail in the country with all 5 Class 1 railroads here. When you talk about the 3rd R, roadways, we have the 3rd busiest trucking corridor in the nation. And then finally, that wonderful runway that connects Memphis to really 95% of the world's GDP within 72 hours. So when you've got that logistics infrastructure, you can get any raw material in here very efficiently. You can manufacture and you can get it out very efficiently. But then, when you combine that with the fact that the supply chain has shrunk and your largest customer is right here in Memphis, that suddenly allows a lot of opportunity for these producers to see Memphis as viable. Because right now, a lot of that production happens either overseas or on the coast. And we're looking at bringing that here to the digital delta. So that is an opportunity that we haven't seen in our economy. The growth that we project in terms of gross domestic product over the next couple of years is astounding. We're projecting 45%. If we hit that,
wow.
If we hit that, Kevin, that means that in a 2-year period of time, that's the highest grossing growth of any city in the country in our country's history. No one has grown at 45% in 2 years. So for me, that represents an incredible opportunity for us to be seen differently internationally. Memphis is such a great brand. And when we have international visitors and even those from the country, they come in here and they fall in love with us and who we are and what we represent and our culture. And we want to continue to build on this momentum. So for us, this is true economic transformation, and it will mean that, I've talked to a lot of folks who try to understand the scope of this impact. And I've often said, our next 10 years are going to be what Nashville's last 10 years have been. And people recognize that kind of growth. So will we have the skyscrapers and all of that? Maybe. But what's more important to me is that we're creating high-tech jobs that are paying incredible wages, and we're going to upskill our population so that they can seize these jobs.
Yeah, I mean, so you see this as kind of just the start of something happening here.
Absolutely.
The presence of XAI could even bring in other tech giants as well.
Yes, and it already has. When you consider the presumed announcement of Google placing a data center in West Memphis, Arkansas, they would not probably have looked at this region as viable if not for the success of XAI. You have to understand, when we began marketing to XAI last year, it was March, and we closed on that project in a week. They built out the first phase in 122 days.
Yeah, it's gone quick.
They doubled it in size in 92 days. So it has been so fast, and every one of their competitors has been watching. And so this region showed a capacity for moving quickly at the speed of business. We had the infrastructure in place, and we could generate the power. That is going to be the dawn of a new age for really the nation, when cities figure out how to generate power that supports the AI apparatus. Those are the cities that will win. And that's what we're preparing Memphis for. So no, this is only the tip of the spear. I can tell you, with the conversations that we're having with other major global tech brands that are very excited about Memphis, it's just the beginning.
Yeah, is there a way to merge this blooming tech industry with some of the more traditional things that have been the bedrock of Memphis,
Absolutely. So tech is really ubiquitous with any industry sector that we see. In fact, Mr. Smith said in that meeting that we had, the very pivotal Digital Delta meeting, he said the world is still catching up to the fact that FedEx is a technology company that happens to move packages. And that is profound. But when you think of AutoZone and their global headquarters here, and International Paper and their global headquarters, they would not be able to see the incredible growth that they've had without technology. So we know that that's here to stay. We know the impact of artificial intelligence is going to also be tremendous on basic operations. And obviously Memphis is a major hub for biotech and medical device manufacturing, and we're going to see that evolution of technology continue to influence where these companies go. It's going to allow them to grow even faster, be more productive, and that, to me, is the opportunity for us to see that translate across industry sectors. And we're focused on all of them. We want more, and we want to continue to see our legacy sectors advance and invest in technology and continue to grow here. And we've seen that.
What steps can the Chamber be taking then to achieve some of this growth that you're talking about?
Yeah, so we are on offense every day. We don't take a day off in marketing Memphis to the world. And that is what we want everyone of your viewers to understand, is that we take our role very seriously, in that we are principally charged with marketing Memphis and making sure companies see us as viable for investment and job creation. Now, how we do that is marketing. We have a sophisticated platform in which we engage with prospects. In fact, we're going to be rolling out our Digital Delta 2.0 platform that's going to actually use artificial intelligence significantly in the user experience. And we, next week, for instance, we've got the FedEx St. Jude Championship, and we're hosting site selection consultants from across the country and showing them some entertainment. But also, while they're here, we're going to talk to them about why Memphis is worthy of their clients who they really shepherd these projects, and they look at markets for their clients to invest into. So we hope that awareness and that entertainment and a unique one of a kind opportunity with the tournament will garner us more project activity. But I can tell you, out of my experience here, we currently have 48 projects under management. So these are in various stages of analysis and review and selection of where they're going to invest. But those represent 18,000 jobs and $15 billion more in capital investment should we win them all. And we're focused on winning them all. But 70% of those projects are advanced manufacturing. And we have always been known as a warehouse, logistics, and supply chain hub, and we're always going to be America's distribution center forever. But to see that shift now to manufacturing, and you've got all of the macroeconomic pressures that are forcing companies to consider production in the U.S., where better than Memphis, Tennessee, with our central location and all of the infrastructure that I mentioned earlier. That is what we will do, is market that. And we'll continue to focus on the assets that we have, and we incorporate everything. We incorporate the incredible schools that we have here, the amenities and lifestyle that we afford folks. But something that is new to us and something that is now woven into our narrative is that Memphis is one of only 9 cities in the United States of America that has 2 Carnegie R1 research institutions, with the University of Memphis obtaining that a few years ago, and then most recently, the University of Tennessee Health Science Center. I mean, we're the only one in the state that has 2. Nashville has Vanderbilt, of course, but they're private. And so to have 2 public institutions that are at the very highest level of research in our country is an incredible attraction to businesses that are focused on research, development, advanced technology, and industries.
I mean, it all sounds good to me.
Yeah. You move here? You did?
I sure did.
Now we're not going to let you go.
I know. I'm loving it here. So do you think of the sense that the brand is shifting for companies nationwide?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, we know it. We know that it is shifting. Their focus is on the attributes and positives and the superlatives. We like to live in the superlatives with the Chamber, so best, most, first. And that kind of spirit and that focus on positivity and the why, if not why not Memphis, narrative that we've pushed out in the last year and a half, and thanks to no part of our Chairman Circle investors and our board of directors. The Chamber is 100% funded by the business community here. We have over 1,700 members, and 95% of those are small businesses. So we're a chamber for all businesses. But every one of those interactions with our business owners and members is an opportunity for them to become stewards of this information, to be ambassadors, and they all are. And we're so incredibly grateful that we've got a great team at the Chamber, but they're an extension of that. And they're talking about the positives of Memphis. And we're definitely seeing that shift. So we're expecting to continue this momentum.
Yeah, well, I think that's about all the time we have.
All right.
Ted, anything else that you would want?
No, just really grateful to ABC24 and your coverage of this. We have a lot of content, and more exciting news coming up later this year. So let's keep in touch.
All right. I do have one more question there.
Sure.
We were talking just before we started about the Grizzlies.
Yes.
And that game being moved
Yeah.
from MLK Day. Does
Yeah.
that concern you at all?
It doesn't really. Obviously, we love having a home game that is nationally televised and celebration of Dr. King's life and legacy here. That doesn't go away. The January date will be here, and we will celebrate it as we always do. And it's an opportunity for Memphis to shine nationally. That's not going to change. But what you're looking at is the Memphis Grizzlies brand being so important to the NBA that they are marketing this internationally with games in Berlin and London. And I think that's an opportunity for us as a chamber, as a business community, as a community at large, to go into those markets with our Grizzlies team and show them why Memphis is special. So we're going to leverage it for a foreign direct investment opportunity, quite frankly. And we're already building out what that trip looks like to meet with companies in Berlin and London.
Gotcha. So you'll be going with the team then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting. Well, then, yeah, when you look at it from that perspective,
Yes,
it's a great opportunity.
It is.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
Thank you, Ted. Appreciate
Thank you
you being here.
very much,
Appreciate
Kevin.
you. Watch along. That's all we have for you here. We'll see you next time.